Hello everyone. Today I'll share with you my fifth digital story. In particular, I'll be reflecting on how technology has been used in my experience to engage with language in a creative way. To be specific, I'll focus on the use of digital storytelling, even though it is slightly different, but still a tool for supporting learning and cultural understanding. But first, I think it's important to know that based on the readings for this model, it's important to understand about the role of technology in teaching and also learning interlanguage pragmatics and intercultural competence. So first, technology does offer new ways to help to understand interlanguage pragmatics, which is simply can be defined as how people from different languages or let's say we come from different background culture and speak of course different languages understand and express meaning. So when it comes to teaching these skills, it is not that easy. This is because language and culture are closely connected, and in this case we can say that digital materials such as apps, websites and online resources can help to practice pragmatics such as learning speech acts like greetings and apologize in different languages. Also, we have to know how digital platforms such as social media that they have important roles in learning. This is because it creates a new, or let's say a lot of new opportunities for learning how to communicate in such online platforms. So in general, while technology has made and still make great developments in teaching, there is still much to learn about how best to use technology to teach so that we can improve such skills based on this course. So now I'll share with you the idea for this topic after sharing my experience of learning English as a foreign language. So let's start. When I first started learning English, the experience was new and challenging because English was different from my native language. However, I began thinking about how to speak this foreign language. Over time, I started to focus on the grammar and whether this foreign language aligned syntactically with my native language or not. Of course, it did not, but I wanted to know if there was anything that both languages shared. As time passed, I continued learning English like any other student, but I never considered cultural or pragmatic perspectives. I believe that this understanding comes with time, even without being explicitly addressed. When I start when I start reading blogs or watching movies, being exposed to the American pop culture. For example, I realized that people do not interact with others through language, but there is something beyond the language itself. So, for example, it's not just about the words, but also gestures, body language, and much more. This, for me, was like passive, accumulated knowledge that I have been absorbing unconsciously. Nevertheless, I used to watch foreign language movies with subtitles. Watching films, they actually didn't only help me to pick up new words, but also give me insight into the daily life and values of these cultures. I also had been reading blogs about anything that I can access through the website. So, for example, I have seen or read blogs that discuss dialects, cultural norms, or anything else about celebrities in that case. However, while these activities gave me passive exposure, they weren't interactive or creative. They didn't push me to actively use the language or reflect deeply on the cultural I was learning about. After that, the shift came when I engaged in doing such personal story in classes. For example, we had the chance to create a PowerPoint about personal travel experience. This, in fact, allowed me to combine photos I had taken and also trying to narrate the story itself and also attaching music that reflect the emotional tone of the journey. I didn't use subtitle, but the language was very simple and lucid. That seems I was pushing myself to think differently about how to convey the meaning of the story because my friends are not from my country. So basically, the work was only through PowerPoint, but also we had the time to share it with my friends in person. So that is after the class, we had time to talk in person in front of others. So the project wasn't just about learning language, it was actually about expressing identity, emotion, and of course, culture through language, which makes the learning process more meaningful and creative. For now, to reflect on the summer model, I believe this activity fits within the modification level of summer. This is because we use the PowerPoint to redesign the traditional language task. So instead of just writing or speaking about travel experience, we combined photos and narration and music to create a multimedia presentations. This is this allowed me to express not only the details of my journey but also my emotions, while Arabic music making the projects more personal and of course meaningful. It's also sharing the presentations with my classmates added an interactive element, which pushed me to think about how to communicate with my friends from different cultural backgrounds. In conclusion, using technology in projects can transform a simple language task into a more creative and, of course, meaningful experience. This is can be seen as what I shared with you based on my experience. By incorporating photos and music and narration into a PowerPoint presentation, I was able to express both the details and the emotions of my travel experience in a way that traditional methods would not allow this. So, sharing the project with the classmates added social and interactive aspects, which helped me and which helped me and others to communicate from different cultural backgrounds. This activity aligns with the modifications, as I said, summer model, and it significantly reshaped how I approach the task, enhancing both the language or the experience of learning a language and, of course, what is important, understanding cultural differences. Thank you for listening.